All right, we say goodbye and we have a thank you for service to Wyoming City Schools, and we want to note these people and all the incredible things they have done for our children over the years. So I'm just going to go in alphabetical order. First one is Debbie Allen. Debbie started in 2003. She is a teacher who has worked in this building right here. She is much loved by not just the children, but the teachers with whom she works. I've been told by many that they are devastated at not being able to work with her next year. She recently won an impact award for the incredible things she brings to the middle school, and we honor her for that. Over her years here, she has been an educational aide and the after-school care program coordinator. So we thank Debbie Allen for her service to us. Next on the list is Janet Bingley. She started in 2012-2013. She has been in Wyoming City Schools for 12 years in the primary. She was a primary literary resource teacher. Yeah. It's a reading teacher, but it's a nice fancy name that I would remember, so sorry about that. She has been in all three of the primaries she's worked. And so your children have most likely seen her in some aspect during her time here with us. She has been officially the Intervention Assistance Team Member and also Primary Department Chair in Reading and Language Arts. Once more, an incredible loss, and we thank you for your service to Wyoming. This one's a little bit harder. Jenny Burgess and I had many wonderful years working together, and she has done so many wonderful things. Jenny is that person that acts as the glue that keeps the program together. No matter what it is she does. She spent many years here in the middle school. She has been at Vermont and Hilltop. Have you also been there? No? Okay, missed him. Sorry. And you missed her in that case. Jenny is a graduate of Wyoming City School. She is one of our own, and she has two daughters who also graduated from Wyoming. She started in 1999, and she has had many different jobs. She has been an educational aide, was one of those wonderful people that you can count on as a teacher assistant in the classroom. She was a library aide, which is where she and I spent a lot of time together. She was a health aide, and she's been the building administrative assistant at both Vermont and Hilltop. And gosh, this is going to be hard, Leslie, because I've just always found Jenny wherever I've looked. So thank you for your service. All right, Louise Cadre. Louise started in 1987. She is our senior teacher in our district. Education. She's worked here her whole career. She has a daughter who went through Wyoming, or is about to graduate. She's not going through yet, so we won't say that just yet. She has coached, I'm sorry, I have to read off my list here. She has been a coach for softball, volleyball, middle school cheerleading, middle school girls on the run, and she's also been the department chair for PE and health. But I also remember mostly as an incredible member of the building leadership team, including serving sometime as the actual chairman as well, and has been a part of the whole picture. And one of the things Louise brings is she just covers her area, but she does it as a part of the whole. So we have always celebrated our whole child idea. in Wyoming, and Louise is a great example of how she's made that work. And then there are the songs. Louise has an incredible wit. If you get to spend some time with her, she has a great sense of humor, and one of the things she's famous for is she puts together these great songs that we share when I was working, we shared at faculty meetings. They're always great. How to explain them? Somebody doing a song. Gosh, I hope so. Gosh, I hope so. But it's one of those things that if you're a teacher and I don't know, maybe you take the kids on a field trip and you go in the porta potty and don't quite know how everything works. Well, when we all find out about that goes in the song. Or if we hire you as a principal from Madeira and you happen to announce at a parent meeting how great the Madeira schools are, and we all boo you, of course, that goes in the song. So if you got to the point where sometimes if you made a mistake, you'd say, please don't tell Louise that it'll be in the song. Louise, we thank you for everything you've done. She started in 2001. She has 23 years in this building. She has served mostly in our special ed department, and we thank her. She was an educational aide. Also not here tonight, Deb Seitz. Deb started her career in 1997. She worked at the high school while her husband Greg was here at the middle school. She's worked her entire career in the high school, and we thank both of them for their services. All right, thank you. Now we would like to thank some of our community leaders, and that includes our outgoing PSA president, our Wyoming High School alumni president, and our Wyoming Boosters president. Would you three come up, please? All right. Tia Miller is the PSA president who is outgoing this year, and we thank her for all she's done. She's probably exhausted from getting there. I would think she's probably not out. We also want to thank Jim Berry, who has been in many different roles in Wyoming, but most recently was the Wyoming High School alumni president, and is outgoing from that and outgoing with the whole organization as you team up with the Wyoming School Foundation, which I think is a great connection and partnership. So thank you, Jim, for you've done. And we want to thank Katie Carmichael, who is the Boosters outgoing president. Thank you for your service. Also, a lot of time and energy given to our children. Thank you very much. Our CAC, which is the Citizens Advisory Committee, that is a 2-year commitment, and and it's staggered. So we have a few people who are coming off this year. They are Justin Malarski, Kelly Churchwright, Lauren Fernandez, and Nathan Lee. If you could just stand up, well, we thank them for their the 2-year commitment they made. That does mean we have openings, so if you would like to serve on the Citizens Advisory Committee, you can go to our website and fill out the report and join us. All right, we have leaving us our development director of our Wyoming School Foundation, Alex Guest. If you would come up, please.
Hi, Alex. And I think I can say for all of the individuals that we're honoring here, or we've already honored so far, we talk a lot about leadership, and leadership matters. And Alex, we're just going to say thank you for everything that you've brought to the school district. We talk about impact, leadership matters, and all of the supports, the connection that you've made for our school district, and all the opportunities that we have had because of your work. We just appreciate everything you do, and we know that you've moved on to incredible things, but we will absolutely miss everything about what you've done here. Congratulations. Okay. Middle school cafeteria. Gotta love it. Everyone just wiggle a little bit. Yeah, that is the middle school cafeteria seat. We are so excited to have all of you here tonight. This is exciting. And we're able to recognize adults, and we're able to recognize students for the incredible accomplishments that they have made. Now, our students are amazing. You know that. Our students excel in academics, in the arts, in athletics, and even beyond that. We say in the classroom and well outside the classroom. And so twice a year, what we do is we have these special board meetings where we recognize our students and some of our staff members for the amazing accomplishments that they've made and the impact that they make on others. And so we're excited that tonight is one of those nights. And so what will happen is we'll turn it over to, I believe we're going to be starting with our primary schools principal in just a moment, Dr. Kirshner. But what will happen is individuals will introduce, or will call up students who are being recognized for outstanding efforts in many different ways. And we ask those students to come on up, and you'll have an adult speak to your accomplishments. And so I know it's tough, it's hard to kind of stand here and get recognized, but we want you to own it and be comfortable with it. You deserve this. And then after we share a little bit about what you're being recognized for, then we'll have all of our students introduce themselves to the group. So I think Dr. Kirshner, you're going to start us off, right? Yes. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gina Kirshner. I am the proud principal of Wyoming Primary Schools, and I'm so excited to tell you about just a few of the many, many wonderful things that our staff and students have done so far this school year, and actually since in the second half of the school year, but this is just the tip of the iceberg of many, many wonderful things. So if I could have Mrs. Shively come up. Mrs. Shively and her PE partner, Mr. Fear, are physical education teachers at Wyoming Primary Schools. And I wanted to recognize them along with all of our primary students for the work they did during the Kids Heart Challenge this year. She's going to tell you just a little bit about that, but I want you to know that they raised $2,377.06 for the American Heart Association. But even more important than the money, it is the great, great learning that our kids got to experience.
We spent about 2 weeks with the kids learning about heart healthy choices, how our hearts work, what our heart looks like, cardiovascular system. And the whole program is teaching the kids hands-only CPR. So if they hear staying alive or really stands and beat and all of a sudden they're doing this, that's because that's the beat, the core 4B. They just excelled. They were so excited. And we really thank the school system and the parents for supporting them. Okay, so we were watching, in one of the classes we were watching Lion King. You know when Mufasa goes in the thing and he gets trampled? 3 of the kids go, hands only CPR, let's go. No pressure. I think that will save them. And I look at all of them and go, so it's stuck in their brain. And the little kids actually say, I don't think I can do it, but I can tell somebody how to do it. And I'm like, that is exactly what we need in the community, people that know what to do. So thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize a teacher that is not here with us tonight, but Mr. Adam Beard is a 3rd grade teacher at Vermont. I'm sure many of you know him. He's been around here in Wyoming for a long time. But we wanted to recognize him for being Mount St. Joseph's 2024 Outstanding Teacher Mentor this year. So universities around the area are given the opportunity to recognize a cooperating teacher for our pre-service teachers in their programs. And Mr. Beard was recognized as being outstanding at not only his work with our students, but in mentoring pre-service teachers. So let's give Mr. Beard a round. Next, I'm excited to welcome Ms. Holly Benjamin and her student artist. So primary students, if you are here with Ms. Benjamin for your work, come on up.
All right, don't be shy. Well, they might not be here, but I want to just tell you a little bit about what happened. I'm a member of the Ohio Art Education Association, and as a member, I'm able to select artworks for a very important annual Ohio State House Art Exhibition. And these students had their artwork selected for that show, and you were also part of our graphic design contest, is that correct? Which is a whole nother art activity that was also in Columbus. So two separate art events. But anyway, this is a really important art exhibition because it celebrates your talent, your creativity, and your innovation. And you're recognized by the government. So you received your letter. And I just want to let you introduce yourselves and just so proud of you.
I go to and I'm in third grade.
We're celebrating art here. Their artwork is still on display in Columbus. It is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Okay. And then last but not least from the primary, I'd like to welcome up Ms. Jen Gerstner and her students that are Noetic Math Contest winners. I'm going to turn it over to Jen to tell us a little bit about these special kids.
Okay, my which students participated in the National Noetic Problem Solving Tournament this spring. 803 schools participated from 43 different states, and these students scored in the top 10% of the nation. In addition, our third grade team, as a collective from all three schools, their team score was in the top 10% of the nation. So we have a very sweet class. I see a lot of my former students here. We also earned this in 2017 and 18, so thank you for continuing on the tradition. But I want them to introduce themselves because their voices are way cute.
My name is Rory Stroller, and I go to Vermont, and I'm his boyfriend. My name is Michaela Perez. I go to Elm, and I am in third grade. My name is Alex Stratton. I go to Elm, and I'm in third grade. My name is Aurelia Adriel. I go to Elm, and I'm in third. My name is Calvin Mallard, and I go to Hilltop, and I'm in third grade.
Thank you to our primary schools and congratulations. My name is Brian Goshen. I'm the building principal here at the middle school, and I have the distinct pleasure to introduce our advisors for 3 of our academic areas. Later in the evening, we'll hear about some of our student athletes and some of our clubs that have done some great things this past semester as well. But 2 of the groups that we're talking about are foundational level, ELA and math, and they've done a fantastic job, competed at the state level, and I'm going to take this moment to introduce you to 2 of the advisors for Power of the Pen, Miss Jen Salve and Miss Beth Turner. If you could please come on up here. Ms. Salve and Ms. Turner are going to tell you a little bit about Power of the Pen, and then we'll bring our students up as well.
All right, amazing writers, come on up. And we'd also like to invite Rosie on the 9th grade. Rosie Galvin, if you come up too. We know we're here in Southern.
Thank you. All right. For those of you who may not be familiar with Power the Pen, it is a statewide competitive creative writing program for 7th and 8th graders. At the tournament, students compete in 3 rounds of writing. In each round, they are given a prompt and have 40 minutes to write a complete narrative inspired by it. Their writing is read, scored, and given feedback by judges from schools all over the region. This season, our writers earned many awards. At the district tournament, Megan Maley, Marina Pierman, and Parker Neff all earned individual awards, and the 8th grade team received a first place trophy. In addition, Marina and Megan also earned Best of Round and Platinum Pen Awards, which means their stories will be published in the Book of Winners. At the regional tournament, Marina Pierman, Alicia Chen, and Megan Maley all placed individually, helping the 8th grade team earn a 2nd place trophy. And then,
that gave me enough time to find glasses on. Thank you. All right, and so then on Thursday and Friday, we traveled to Ashland University for our state tournament, where we met with some great success. Our writers had some amazing results there. So Alicia and Marina both competed at the state tournament. Qualifying for the state tournament is a significant achievement. Only 10% of all Power of the Pen writers qualify for the state tournament each year. At this final tournament, several of our team members earned individual awards. Marina placed 10th overall in the 8th grade. She also earned a Platinum Pen Award, which is another publication in the Book of Winners. 8th grader Lucia Charton also received the annual Humor Award for a story she wrote as a 7th grader at the state tournament in 2023. And 9th grader Rosie Galvin won the Powerful Pen Award for 6 published stories that she wrote in her 7th and 8th grade years. So congratulations to Rosie. In addition, both Lucia and Rosie received Ashland University scholarships for their writing. We are proud of all of our writers this year. We're now going to let them introduce themselves, even though we've introduced them to you a number of times here.
I'm Marina Pierman, and I'm an 8th grader here at the middle school.
I'm Rosie Galvin. I'm in 9th grade at the high school.
thank you guys. Thank you all.
Congratulations again. Thank you, Jen and Beth. And at this time, I would like to invite Stephanie O'Hara, one of our math teachers and our math accounts advisor, up to the front. Ms. O'Hara.
All right, can my math please come up with me, please? For those of you that are not sure what math counts is, it's for those of us that love math and want to compete outside of the classroom. It's a 6th through 8th grade national competition that starts at the school level and builds all the way up to nationals, which you could watch on ESPN if you were so inclined. It has individual components where they work with things with calculators, without calculators, and then there's a team component where they work together. In the city, there's 40 schools that participate. They came in third this year out of all 40 of those teams, which earned them a bid to the state competition. Carter got 11th overall, which means he had to do like a March Madness type of bracket round in front of people for the fastest person to answer math questions correctly, which is something I'm glad I've never had to do in my life because it looked a little terrifying to watch, but he did amazing. At the state round, we did not place, but it's the first time since 2018 that we've sent any mathletes to state, so they did an amazing job, and I'm very proud of them.
I'm Carter Wood.
I'm AJ Wilson, I'm also an administrator.
I'm Tamika and I'm an intern.
I'm Austin and I'm in the center.
Not sure if you caught that or not, but those are our math elites. Congratulations, guys. Our next group is represented by our advisors, Mr. Nick Allen and Lisa Knox. Mr. Allen's not able to join us this evening, but Mrs. Knox is here, and she is going to talk to us a little bit about Model UN and introduce you to some of her students. Mrs. Knox.
Good evening, everyone. I'm really excited about Model UN. Model UN is a chance to engage in rigorous debate, but also to seek to understand other cultures, other nations, other perspectives, other points of views. It gives our students a chance to sit in the place of someone else and either replay a moment in history or, similar to the conference that we just attended in March, find a solution to a global problem, but find a solution to a global problem not from the USA point of view, but from the point of view from whatever nation it is that they are representing. We then go to Columbus and compete with teams from all across the state, and our students were recognized for being fabulous. So they recognize, of the about 79 nations, they recognize a few as outstanding resolutions. We were fortunate to have 2 different teams as part of those outstanding resolutions. I'm going to invite anybody who's here from Model UN to come on up, and we're just going to do one big lineup of everybody. So I need members of, you representing the nation of Sweden, the nation of Venezuela. You received an Outstanding Delegate Award, Outstanding Leadership Awards, if you were elected to Council Presidents or Vice Presidents. Come on up. Slide on over. All right. So, we had members who represented the nation of Sweden, Felix Berry, Molly Flynn, Aubrey Hilliard, Dimitri Myers, and Dominic Putin. And from the nation of Venezuela, Colton Brickler, Olivia Gosel, Jimmy Miller, Jamie Ramsey, Lily Segrist, and Rose Woodside. They wrote an outstanding resolution, debated it, defended it, went all the way through, presented it to General Assembly. You think this room is crowded? There was like over 800 students that they had to speak publicly in front of, and they did an amazing job. They also award outstanding delegates. Again, about 800 attendees. They give 10 awards. Wyoming Middle School earned 3 of those 10. Yeah, they did. And that was Bo Bockenhorn, Fiona Elderman, and Ed Wacker. And just amazing debate. That's for debating and not letting go of the issue. We also received 3 leadership awards. Tate Geigen, Alice Carnes, and Rose Woodside all received outstanding leadership awards. And these are people who led their teams and understood that leading isn't always the one that's in front. Sometimes you can lead from behind. The idea that all boats rise together, they fully embraced that and supported everybody. And then also, this is a student-run organization, and we are fortunate to have 2 people elected as council president and council vice president, which means that next year, they will be responsible for organizing all of the conference. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Mr. Allen and I could not be more proud of the work that they have done. So here we go.
My name is Lily Seacrest. I'm from Venezuela. I'm in 6th grade. I'm Olivia Gonzalez, and I'm in Venezuela in 6th grade. My name is Genevieve Beaton, and I am in 6th grade, and I represent the district. My name is Audrey Hilliard, and I'm part of the student from the 6th grade. My name is Evelyn Walker, and I am an outstanding vice president of Wyoming. And an outstanding delegate. My name is Felix Berry. I'm in 6th grade, and I represent Sweden. My name is Fiona Edelman. I'm in 7th grade, and I'm an outstanding delegate.
My name is Bo Bottenhorn. I'm an outstanding delegate and represented the nation of Cuba.
I'm Esther Lynn, and I am in the St. Francis.
I'm Ben Wong, and I'm in 7th grade. Austria. There you go.
We are so proud of you.
Right. Thank you, all of you members. Thank you, Mrs. Knox. And at this time, I'm going to turn the microphone over to our Athletic and Activities Director, Mr. Matt Weber.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm pleased to be here tonight. Just share a little snapshot of our many athletic accomplishments this winter. Of course, we're still in spring season, so a lot of great successes going on. First off, at the middle school level, I'd like to start things off and introduce our head coach, Paul Schwartz, and our middle school boys and girls track and field team. If you guys come up, please.
Great. Hi everybody, I'm Paul Schwartz. I'm a middle school track and field coach. This is my 3rd year coaching. My first year ever as not having a kid on the team. 16 years since 2008 I've had a middle school or a high school track and field kid. So this is my first year not having a kid, and I needed these guys a lot more than they needed me. So anyways, I'll just speak for a little bit. I can speak forever about track and field, but I want them to introduce themselves. I'll say a few things about our great season that we had. Say your name and what events.
I'm Drew Hornmaker, and I did the 4x1, and I did long jumps. I'm Catherine Boggs, and I did the 800. I'm Maria Sherman, and I did the mile. I'm Evelyn Wackler, and I did shot put and discus.
I'm Johnson, and I did pole vault and discus.
Daniel Kramer, I did the long jump, 200, and long jump. Thanks, guys.
Matt Garrett here too, our coaches. Like I said, Matt and I have been coaching for a while together, 3 years. I'll say a few things about the great season we had this year. This was the first year that the middle school ever had a home track meet. I mean, ever in the history of Wyoming. I want to thank Matt Weber for that. Right here. Thank you, Matt. He was calm, cool, collected. I was a little nervous. Good job doing that. That was great. Second thing about the season, our CHL League Championship is really the Super Bowl for middle school track and field. It's one of our biggest, most important meets of the year. The last 2 years, we have the most points combined, boys and girls, from any school. But we didn't win the championship for boys and girls. Close seconds the last couple of years. So it says we're a very well-rounded team, but we didn't win the championship. This year, we not only have the most points again, but the teams won the championship. So they won the championship CHL. It was a very dramatic fashion. The boys team wasn't predicted to win. You know, they were also without their best sprinter. They were without one of their best throwers. They were without one of their best distance runners. But they still pulled off a tie with Mighty Madeira. You know, it's like almost a 1980, you believe in miracles type championship. So it was a really great job. The girls was extremely exciting. So that the boys tied for the championship. The girls won by a half a point. And so that means both boys and girls won the championships by a half a point. You don't get any closer than that.
And it came down to the high jump of all events. So the girls' high jump came down to it. It was the last event on the field. Everybody knew that it came down to the high jump. And we had a girl, Leah Zimmerly, who had 2 misses. She had to have that third jump to not only win the championship, to win the high jump championship, but for the whole team to win the championship. Talk about icing your veins. It was like a pitcher pitching a perfect game. Nobody was talking to her. She missed the first one, missed the second one. And I'm thinking to myself, the next 5 seconds of this kid's life she'll remember forever. She made it. The place erupted. We won the championship. So that was extremely exciting. More quick things. Within 48 hours of that, we had 5 kids qualify for the state championship in middle school. And a little background between high school and middle school, I think qualifying for the middle school state championship is actually a little more difficult than qualifying for the high school state championship. In middle school, there's no divisions. In high school, there's big division schools, middle-sized division schools, and small division schools, 3 divisions. So in middle school, it really is kind of like the movie Hoosiers. Everybody can qualify. All schools. You can go to all the big schools, the Nagels, the Masons, Little Miamis, the huge schools. And the other thing is, in high school, there's 2 qualifying meets. There's districts and regionals. If you have a bad meet, if you have a bad performance in districts, you're not going to state. In middle school, there's over 160 meets that you can qualify in. So if you have a bad time in one meet, go to another meet and maybe get a better time. So it truly is the best of the best at the middle school state championship, which was just southwest of Columbus. We had 5 kids. Our 4x800 relay team qualified. Ben Autry, Brandon Luby, Matt Lenning, Ryan Anderson. And we also had a girl, Cassie Hobbs, qualify in the 800 meters. Ironically, those are the 2 events that Coach Matt and I qualified state champions. We know nothing about that event. That was great. Very, very proud of those kids. The best of the best. The top 24 times or results in every event were at that state championship. Cassie actually came in the top 10 in the 800. Amazing. And the last thing real quick, there's a record board that we have in the school. Actually, it's not there right now. I came earlier today with a screwdriver. I took it down, brought it out. It's getting updated. We set 9 school records this year. We had Aubrey Blakely in the long jump, Evelyn Wackler in the discus, Cassie Hobbs in the 400 and the 800, Paisley Cook in the 200-meter hurdles. Our 4x100 team of Aubrey, Abby, Drew, and Alicia all broke that record. 800 meters, Ben broke that. 1600 meters, Brandon Luby, sub 5 minutes. And we also had our 4x800 team destroy the school record, qualified for state. And again, that was Brandon Luby, Max Lenning, Ryan Anderson, Ben Autry. So an incredible season. Thank you guys very much. My first season without my own kids. I have you guys to share it with. I really appreciate it.
I just want to echo what Coach said, the best of the best. Well, the best of the best is right here in Wyoming, and it's evident there. Excited to see them continue to grow and develop in their sports and get ready to the high school in the next couple of years. Next sport I'd like to talk about is our swim team, high school swim team. Coach Dave Elliott and any of the high school swimmers that are here tonight, please come up. Those of you that follow along on our social media and our announcements throughout, Coach Dave Elliott was a CHL Coach of the Year. Our boys swim team won the CHL's and district championships, and we had a total of 14 swimmers compete at the state championship meet up in Camden. So Coach Dave Elliott wants to say a few words and introduce our swimmers here.
Well, I just want to thank you and thank the boosters and all the parents and everyone for supporting our program. Sorry for on Riverside, didn't know about the presentation, but and social anxiety. But these guys had a wonderful season. Guys and gals had a wonderful season. I think we set a precedent a few years ago as far as where we want to be as a program. And we're getting back there. We've got just a lot of youth, and the future definitely looks bright. Our senior will miss him greatly. That's Carter. And I'll just let our athletes introduce themselves, and I'll pass the mic. But just thank you again. And swimming, I think, kind of flies a little bit under the radar. Just an extremely tough sport. A lot of training on your own. You're in your own head. And these kids just really work their tail off. And they deserve this recognition. So, yeah, I'm just really proud of them. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
My name is Jake Calvert. I'm a freshman.
My name is Emma Guzal, and I'm also a freshman. My name is Ezra Morris, and I'm also a freshman.
I'm Carter Hagner, and I'm graduating this Friday. I'm Carter, I'm a junior.
I'm Michigan Jane, I'm a junior.
Congratulations again to our swimmers. Just a tremendous season throughout, start to finish. Really enjoyed watching them compete at a very high level. Our next sport, we're going to hit on the mat so briefly. We had, in wrestling, we had Joel Hancock, CHL champion this year in several events in past sectionals, and a very competitive season here. Exciting for the wrestling program moving forward, especially with the middle school and our youth getting ready to be involved more heavily there. Our bowling team, we had 2 district qualifiers, Javin Gregston and Abe Rimpey. District qualifiers there for the bowling season, and Javin actually set a school record with a 279 score. So again, our bowling team had 2 district qualifiers, and we had a school record, Javin Gregston at 279, and Abe Rimpey We're going to shift gears. We're going to take it to the hardware floor, where when we talked about best of the best is right here in Wyoming. I firmly believe that, and it's evident in many of our programs, especially on boys basketball side. We were CHL champions at the 7th grade level, the 8th grade level, and the high school level. So if the middle school team players and coaches can come up, and Kellen Wiley will come up too. Want to share a couple things. Coach Rooks was coaching here on many different associations there. Our middle school teams, again, 7th, 8th grade champions. And Kellen, he was Mr. Player of the Year in the CHL. Obviously, it's a team sport, but a lot of things go individually. He was recognized there, so we're extremely proud of Kellen and our varsity team. CHL champions, district champions, and regional runners-up. So we got over that hump this year. Excited for the future to continue. And as you can see up front here, 7th, 8th grade, and high school, we're all CHL champions in boys basketball. I'll go let you introduce yourself and pass the mic.
All right, my name is Cameron Moppin, and I'm in 8th grade.
Kellen Wiley, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Grant Svensson, I'm in 8th grade. I'm Teddy Goose, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Jonas Whalen, and I'm in the 8th grade. I'm Henry P, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Nate Silas, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Kyler Miles, I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Kaden Walters, and I'm in the 7th grade.
I'm already doing that in the 7th grade.
I'm Riley DeWitt, and I'm in the 7th grade.
I'm Jaden Cringer, and I'm 7th grade.
I'm Riley Owen, and I'm in the 7th grade. I had 4 points.
All right, congratulations again, our 7th and 8th grade again, high school basketball team. It's our high school wrestling team here tonight. Our high school wrestlers are here tonight. Okay, just want to congratulate them on a tremendous season. Abe, are you up here? Where's Abe? Abe, you hiding from me? He was hiding from me. Now you're really on the spotlight. All right, Abe, introduce yourself. It's no pressure or anything. You're
Howdy, I'm Dave. I'm a bowler and I'm graduating this year.
Okay, congratulations. Our last thing we want to recognize is our all-league honors. Anyone that's here tonight that received winter sports, all CHL honors, that was first team, second team, or honorable mention. This winter we had 32 all-league student athletes, bringing our total up from winter and fall to 84. Many of you have seen the recent accomplishments from our spring sports, putting us at over 100 plus student athletes receiving all league honors this entire year. So again, a tremendous accomplishment both by teams and individually. I'll let you introduce yourself and support.
I'm Lila Swenson. I'm a junior in high basketball. I'm Catherine Rutherford. I'm also a junior in high basketball. I'm Sophia Wilhelm. I'm a senior in high basketball.
My name's Rita Jane. I'm a bowler. My name's Kate Wagers. I'm a senior in high basketball.
Again, congratulations. Again, we have 84 right now, looking at over 100 all-conference honors. Just tremendous individual accomplishments throughout the school year. I do want to say special thank you to Katie Carmichael and our athletic boosters. For those of you that do not know, starting this fall, we were able to recognize our student athletes with a all-conference breakfast supported and donated by the athletic boosters for their fall and winter. Excited to recognize our spring here coming up. So again, congratulations to all of our student athletes. There's many more accomplishments here taking place right now. But I'm going to pass the mic off to Miss Stephanie Mivers with Wyoming High School.
Take advantage of the podium over here. A couple of the groups that I will be announcing also includes middle school students. Our first group that we will be recognizing is our chess club. So Mr. Don Easter, you want to come up and introduce the middle school and high school students to honor.
Hello? Can you hear me? Okay. I'd like to give credit to all of these guys. We had a terrific year in the chess club. One of the reasons is because we had two terrific assistant coaches, Coach Jeff Wise and Coach Jamie Tubbs. So I really appreciate their help, and they helped all these guys get even better. I'd like to read this a little bit. I want you guys to unpack. There, we have some trophies to present. We conducted internal chess tournaments that helps us prepare for our external chess tournaments against other schools. So I'm going to start with the winners of our internal chess tournaments. First of all, our 5th grade champion, Jack Robbins. Our 6th grade champion, Thomas Lum. The winner of our tournament for varsity, Abe Rempe. And the winner of our speed chess championship, Ben Long. We play in the Greater Cincinnati Scholastic Chess League. So a lot of our season is preparation for that league and the matches that we do. The first place we compete is in our own division, and that's with the other CHL schools. So in our competition there, we had the best reserve team And I want to present that trophy. I want our players who participated in the playoff matches to do that. I want you to present this to our principals. Present that. Then we won our division against the other CHL schools, so I want to present that trophy. Our team, as a league tournament, we tied for first with St. X. So we got this trophy. Lastly, we then had to go to the playoffs, and we had to play some pretty good schools. They're called Moeller and St. X, and we prevailed. So we won, and we're going to give the honor of presenting that trophy to our graduating senior. So, as just a quick summary, in the past year we've beaten all the other CHL schools, Indian Hill, Marymount, Madeira, and Deer Park. We had head-on matches. We played preseason matches with Princeton, Walnut Hills, won those. And then we had the playoffs with Moeller and St. X. It's been a pretty good year. We've beaten some pretty good other high schools. So thank you very much.
Okay, next up we have Mr. Todd Wagenhart and any Latin students that happen to be present this evening.
If you, not any Latin students, if you got a gold medal on the national Latin exam in either middle school or high school, yeah, it does say any, but that's,
I love Latin.
Exam is a contest that was started in the early 1970s, so it's been around for a little while, as a way of testing and assessing and allowing Latin students across the country to compete against one another. Since it started, it's now expanded to not only the United States, but it is in 26 different countries. About 100,000 students per year take the national Latin exam. And this year at Wyoming, we gave 83 of that 100,000 tests, and out of the 83, 57 of those qualified for awards of some type. Our gold medalists, which is about 10% of all the test takers, 3 of them are here, but we had 9 total receiving gold medals. And one of those gold medalists, Fiona, also got a perfect score, which is about 1% of all the people that took part. So I will let them introduce themselves because they're all middle schoolers and I haven't met them before.
I'm Carter Wood, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Austin Lynn and I'm in 7th grade. I'm Fiona Edelman and I'm in 7th grade. Okay, next up I will be presenting on behalf of Ariana Sanders. So I need any students who present
Presidential Service Awards.
Get up there, Ryan.
Okay, these students were given the Presidential Service Award that is sponsored by AmeriCorps. For our freshmen and sophomores, that means in 12 months they completed at least 50 hours, and for juniors and seniors, the minimum was 100 hours. These students were presented with their certificate and pin at a breakfast banquet at Wyoming High School on May 15th. So I'll let them introduce themselves.
My name is Sarah Mibor, and I'm a senior.
My name is Lola Ruby, and I'm a freshman.
I'm Ryan Shin, I'm a sophomore.
Yeah, hello.
I'm Oscar, I'm a junior.
I'm Maria Jane, I'm a senior. Wyoming. I'm Patricia Jane, I'm a junior.
Okay, next up, I'm going to ask Ms. Louise Anderson to join me up here, and any students who participated in this year's Magnified Giving Project. If you are here, come on up.
I'd love to give a shout out to Maria Sanders, who is the advisor for Project Lead, an organization that provides service opportunities to students stay connected with the greater community. She was able to connect our students to an opportunity through the healthcare organization Magnified Giving. They partner with schools to give students the opportunity to learn about service in the community, to conduct service learning, and they match money with funds raised by students. They offered a grant of $1,000 to be given to Wyoming High School, and so we had an internal competition of sorts amongst students. And so this was voluntary, that most of the students participated in their free time, their flex periods, and they chose a Magnified Giving matched organization. I had the opportunity as the teacher of our sociology course in the fall to connect Magnified Giving to our curriculum, in which we were learning about social stratification and inequality. And so our students partnered with our Research and Innovation Center to conduct research about issues of inequality around gender, socioeconomic inequalities, racial and ethnic inequality. They identified target organizations, and then all of the students created PSAs in order to provide education about the issue that was identified. So they brought all of those students together in the second semester, and they presented to the director of Magnified Giving along with several of our board members. And they identified the winner. So their organization won $1,000 as Chance Mullins and Cole Rensberger, both freshmen who were representing the nonprofit organization Great Lake Me. Our other students were not able to join us this evening, but I would love to get a student to introduce herself. Francie Kaiser, Charlie Canyon, Cora Kramer, Natalie Molina, Bridget McCluskey, Abby Brands, and Anisha Watson. Thank you so much.
Okay, next up, I'd like Mr. Dennis Schachter and any DECA students present to come join me up here.
All right, so probably like most of you out there, I didn't know what DECA was until about 4 years ago. DECA stands for Distributed Education Clubs of America, which is an outdated term in itself. So it goes by DECA, and we are the career tech student organization with the business management program here at Wyoming. There are over 260,000 DECA members around the United States and across the globe. And DECA prepares emerging leaders and entrepreneurs for college and careers in the areas of business management, entrepreneurship, finance, hospitality and tourism, and marketing. It's also an integral part of my classroom. It enhances what I teach the kids by giving them real-life scenarios that they solve in
and role plays, not only in the classroom but in front of judges. The students that we have up here today were all qualifiers for the Ohio Career Development Conference. You do that by competing in a regional competition. Ours is the toughest region. We are in with Sycamore, Marymount, and Indian Hill. We are less than half the size of all three of those chapters. Indian Hill actually has 2 chapters that are larger than our 1 chapter. Arwen Zoo competed in restaurant and food management. Owen Bailey competed in entrepreneurship series, and Callie Hilton competed in hotel and lodging management series. We also had Ainsley Bacon and Kaylin Fetty, who competed in a startup business plan. This year we had 4 people qualify for the International Career Development Conference, which was recently held in Anaheim. Made possible in large part due to a generous grant from the Wyoming School Foundation. Callie Hilton qualified for the 3rd time in hotel and lodging for the international competition. It's very difficult to get back there, but she was runner-up in Ohio this year. She was 4th place last year, 3rd place as a sophomore. Owen Bailey qualified for international. He finished 5th in our regional competition. Followed it up with a 3rd place finish at state. In Anaheim, when we were out there, Owen won both of his role plays. There were 20 people that he was competing against to try and make it to the finals. They were given 2 role plays. He had the highest score in both of his role plays. So Owen finished in the 80th percentile overall. He has made the incredibly wise choice of furthering his education at Ohio State next year. Callie, so as I mentioned, for 3 years she's been the gold standard in her category, and she's very well known and highly regarded by my fellow teachers in the Great Oaks system. They're happy to see her go, though. But at nationals this year, Callie finished in the 76th percentile overall. Her test score put her in the 80th percentile. Last year, she was a medalist in her role play number 2, I think it was. So Callie has also served as our chapter president for the past year. So really hate to see her go, but I'm happy to report that she's also going to Ohio State, where she'll be on the crew team. So, and thankfully, Arwen is just a freshman this year. So I have him for 3 more years, and I expect great things from him. Thank you.
Okay, next up, I can have Miss Danica White come join me up here, and any Just Right students that are present.
Great, thank you.
So I'm going to let the students introduce themselves, and then I'll explain how Just Right came to be at
Awesome. Hi, I'm Maggie Galvin, and I am a junior.
I'm Rosie Galvin, and I'm a freshman.
And we represent like a quarter of the team. There's 5 quarter, I mean like 8. Us 12. So the history of Just Right.
Jen and Beth do such a great job with Power of the Pen that when the high school, or when the students come out to the high school, they're kind of at a loss because they don't have that competition of creative writing. And Maggie Galvin came to Denise Briggs and I and said, hey, there's this organization that we should check out.
So we did, and Denise and I were very excited about it, and we decided to coach this team this year. And I must say that they had a very successful first year. The team includes not only Maggie and Rosie, but Briss Hossain, Lorelei Wise, Ella Hernandez, Tegan Ellis, and Lana Berman. They made state. So what's different with Just Right from Power of the Pen is we only have 2 competitions, a regional competition and a state competition. So at the regional competition in Xenia, we produced 4 places in Division 1, which is 9th and 10th grade. So 10th place was Tegan Ellis, 5th place was Alana Berman, 2nd place Rosie Galvin, and 1st place was Ella Fernandez. We also won top Division 1 school, and in the Division 2, Maggie Galvin placed 1st. Most recently, we attended a state competition at University of Findlay, where the people I mentioned secured a place to compete. Rosie Galvin walked away with a 15th place award in Division 1 and won one of 3 Director's Choice Awards, which was scored against all regional entries. So thank you for recognizing all of the hard work that this team has put in this year, and we're looking forward to next year.
Okay, can I have Daniel Kleiman please join me up front? Daniel Kleiman is a junior at Wyoming High School. Daniel competed in the Business Professionals of America at Live Oaks and came in 1st place among his classmates for PC repair and troubleshooting. He then advanced on to the regional competition where he again placed 1st place in device configuration and troubleshooting. On March 7th and 8th, Daniel competed at the state level in Columbus. He placed 8th place among his peers for device configuration and troubleshooting. Okay, Addison Miller, would you please join me up here? I will be speaking on behalf of Mrs. Disher.
Yes, Addison.
The Cincinnati Rotary Club annual speech contest provides high school students an opportunity to speak about a personal passion and to network with members of our local business community. Junior Addison Miller represented Wyoming High School as a finalist at this year's contest in front of the Greater Cincinnati Rotarians annual luncheon. Addison's speech outlined environmental and economic problems and solutions to the fast fashion industry. She finished as the citywide runner-up and is already planning for next year's contest. Okay, I'm going to ask next up Mr. C.J. Langenhoff to come up and speak. Any Ohio Governor's Youth Art Exhibition students present, will you join us up here?
Like said, I'm C.J. Langenhoff. Over the course of the year, we have students participate in this year 2 primary jury art competitions. The first one is the Ohio Governor's Youth Art Exhibition. The second one is the Congressional Arts Competition, and we'll talk about those separately. The Ohio Governor's Youth Art Exhibition is in its 54th year. It's dedicated to the educational and artistic development of our talented young people in Ohio. This exhibition is open to all of Ohio's 1,112 high schools, both public and private, chartered by the state of Ohio Department of Education. The competition purpose is to provide all young artists of the state with opportunities to advance their talent, whether through scholarships or experiencing the process of entering their work in a competition. This competition includes 2 rounds of jury, one at the regional level and one at the state level. This year, the works of Monty Fleming, Molly Forkmeyer, Olivia Holden, Johnny Johnson, Red Kottmeyer, Mia Marty, Zoe Mayberry, Nathan McCluskey, Nick Robson, Zoe Sheehan, Will Sparrow, Carson Stevens, and Cassia Bramstead advanced to the second round, the regional round of this competition. And Will Sparrow and Nathan McCluskey were chosen for the final exhibit, which includes 300 pieces from about 8,000 to 10,000 from the entire state.
In the Congressional Arts Competition, the U.S. House of Representatives Congressional Arts Caucus coordinates an annual art competition for high school students. This year, 280 students competed from Ohio's 8th Congressional District, including the following students: Monte Fleming, Izzy Lenny, Gabe Gersonchuk, Olive Berry, Raylan Filson, and Karen Marshall. Olive Berry received an honorable mention, and her work was showcased at Ohio Representative Warren Davidson's Washington, D.C. and district offices the following year. Congratulations to both.
Okay, I'm going to ask that Ms. Lisa Knox come up yet again to represent the high school chorale students. And if any of them are present here this evening, so they can join us.
I thought about, since it was getting late, that maybe we were just going to sing this entire presentation in opera format. Listen, okay. All right. So I have the pleasure of also sometimes helping out with the high school choir and chorale, and I have to say there's something magical, really, about a group of people coming together and breathing together, and then breathing life into song. And this group of people, amongst others on this list, all had the opportunity to do that. First at the regional level, and then because of the scores that they received at the regional level, they then advanced to the state level. So Mr. Potts couldn't be here tonight, but asked me to share this honor. They participated in the Ohio Music Educators Association, or OMEA, state level adjudication at Lakota East High School on April 26th. Before that, they competed on March 8th at someplace local. And St. Joe, of course it was. They received a perfect rating from the 4 judges in March and then qualified for state. And then at state, they had to do sort of the same thing, but with new music. At the adjudication, chorale performs 3 songs off of the required list for 3 separate judges. And then after the stage performance, as if that wasn't enough, they participate in a sight reading portion where they had to sing a separate song, completely unknown to them. They go, here's music, sing, go. Sight reading. And that's a lot for those of you who've not ever done that. That's a lot. They get no help from the director. It's just, here it is, cold, go. So like, in theory, I could hand them a piece of music right now and they would all sing it. I will not do that to you.
Do
But
it.
they were amazing, and they represented Wyoming at the highest level. Overall, our state level rating was a 1, a superior rating. That's a really, really big deal. It's the highest rating a choir can receive, and they came home with an official OMPA state level plaque, which is hung in the choir room. I hear there's an unboxing video. Congratulations to all choir members. I'm going to start at this end. They're going to introduce themselves, and then Emma, the choir president, will read this list of other people who are not here present yet. You can sing your name if you want.
Oh,
Go for it.
hi. My name is Addison Miller, and I'm a junior.
My name's Kay, and I'm a senior.
I'm Ryan. I'm Anthony, I'm a senior.
I'm Damon, I'm a junior.
I'm Emma, I'm a senior. Okay, and then the rest of the people in chorale that aren't here today, we've got Tula Baker, Geneva Voss, Rebecca Brink, Ashley Emsch, Ella Fernandez, Khalees Howell, Zoe Sheehan, Annika Wasson, Elijah Frost, Briss Hossein, Joe Snyder, Willem Hoganesh, Louis Janigan, Liam Smith, Max Straub, DeMarleon Wadley, Kendall Caudry, Ethne George, Jordan Green, Natalie Schmall, Lola Seeds, Juliet Thornton, Quincy Trush, Clarissa Walden, and Ann Zimmerly.
And did you all notice those nice tall vowels? Those of us who sing, you know. They did a fantastic job. Well done, guys.
Last but not least, I am going to represent Ms. Tracy Majors, with any advanced placement environmental science caring for our watersheds finalist team members present.
Let's go, Rachel!
Now one.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, each year the state of Ohio runs a Caring for Our Watersheds contest. The top 10 finalist proposals are chosen out of 130 plus entries and given funds to implement their projects. They then present the projects in front of a panel of judges at the zoo at the end of April. This year's Wyoming's AP environmental students made up 3 of the top 10 groups in the entire state. At the finals in April, Addison Miller and Jack O'Leary won first place for their seed bombs, the soil solution proposal. Sarah Criddle was awarded 5th place for her Mill Creek cleanup project. Elizabeth Baker, Rachel Gelhausen, and Lily Knopp were awarded 9th place for their Green Flow project. The students won money for themselves, $1,000, $600, and $350 respectively for their hard work, and the school receives matching funds to be used in the classroom. The matching funds are used to implement AP WE projects by their classmates. Great job by everyone that was involved.
Wow. Okay, we talked about how amazing our students are, and I think tonight is just another great example of the talent that our students have in the classroom, outside of the classroom, in so many ways. So thank you for staying here. Thanks for being here for the duration of that, and just celebrating our students. Let's give, for those students still here, let's hear one more time for Okay, I think we are ready to shift gears, and we'll take maybe a little very brief 2-minute pause before we go into the rest of the agenda. Thank you again, everyone. Have a great night.
Y'all didn't say your names. I know.
Yeah, everybody's good. That was back. So did you say you're new occupants? The associations, with all I'm worried about that.
Missy Horns.
Oh, yes, yeah, they tried to.
Yeah. I'll pass them. We'll try this. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We'll teach you more. Have a good one.
See you too. Take care. I love
Hi. How are you? I'm good. It's good to see you. You too. Great kids. You're and I was looking at some of so yeah, really cool. That's so cool. Congratulations to both of you. Well done. See ya. See ya.
We are ready for item 8, textbook adoption presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for sticking around for this part of the presentation. I'm Louise Anderson. I'm the Wyoming School Social Studies Department Chair. We had the distinct pleasure of investigating the adoption of textbooks and other instructional materials. Our department was very eager to begin this, many people started reaching out way before the official process began to start looking at samples, to trial and pilot some of those materials in the classroom to see how they would function. Overall, we were looking for alignment within our department philosophy, looking to align that with the elements and attributes of a learner from our strategic plan. And most importantly, because we teach such a wide variety of courses, both the core, our AP classes, our electives, we wanted to make sure that we had diverse representations, points of view, and that they would meet the needs of the wide variety of learners that we have. We worked with maybe up to 8 publishers, trying to find the right fit, and so we offer the most courses at the high school, so my room looked kind of crazy for a while with all the samples being shipped in and kind of given to the appropriate people. But we have a really unique curriculum at Wyoming High School in our social studies department. Most schools force you to teach world history in 1 year. We have a really unique opportunity to offer 2 years of world history with an emphasis in the sophomore year on 20th century world history. We offer a comprehensive United States history, either AP or college prep to our juniors, which is also a bit different than the state model. And then we offer a year-long course of government in one form or another for our seniors, which is also a bit more in-depth than what most schools offer. And so trying to find the right resources to support that and support the amount of content and depth and the variety of learners that we have was an investigation. We wanted to focus on finding resources, and again, a textbook and text support materials are a resource, not the only resource. And so we wanted to find resources that were going to complement the curriculum, we're going to complement the instructional styles of our teachers, and provide experiences that are engaging, accessible, and provide support both when students are reading independently, but also have supplementary materials that align with our curriculum to support the teachers and students with authentic resources like primary sources, data sets, things of that nature, and appropriate testings. Okay? So in terms of main areas of focus, we, like I've said already, so I won't leave that too much, we have diverse course offerings. We have 4 years of required social studies, which focuses on history, and then senior year of government. But we have a ton of AP courses, and in addition, we also have a lot of new semester electives that we've offered as well. And so we have, students that are taking almost every single elective that we offer, and we also have the students that are really invested and are going to go into some type of social science or history after high school, and also students that are looking for a more authentic elective experience because they're interested or they want to learn more. So lots of different options. And so our approach of looking at the types of resources that we investigated and kind of our criteria as we discussed as a team looks a little bit different when we're talking about the adoption of resources for an AP class, which has a national standardized curriculum. It has a culminating exam that all of our students take at the end of that course. And each of those courses goes through a process of alignment and curricular design that evolves. And so we wanted to make sure that we were adopting resources that were going to be up to date in terms of the most recent data, most recent research, most recent content, so that students are having an accurate representation of the discipline, as well as having supplementary materials that are going to be aligned to help prepare them for the examination. While that's not the only thing that matters, if students are going to put in that work, we want to make sure that they have success on that examination. And then our college prep courses, which serves every level of student to make sure that they have the support that they need to learn and engage with content area literacy and text. So for the CP courses in particular, a lot of the texts that we adopted or that we've proposed for adoption, in particular those from Cengage for our world history and for our American history students, have a digital component. All of them have digital read aloud available, but for our core courses, they have the option where there's like a toggle function that allows students to differentiate text in real time. So you can kind of toggle on and it will maintain the same content features, but the language will be simplified or it can be kind of ramped up on the more advanced vocabulary. Also looking for graphic supports. While some of our AP or honors texts are a bit more text heavy, those for our CP students we want to make sure have appropriate visuals and graphics that help illustrate and explain some of those text materials. And then looking for alignment not just with the strategic plan and our philosophy as a department, and we also have the opportunity to align and have some conversations with our colleagues at the middle school, which was a great experience. But additionally looking for alignment from our freshman to sophomore, junior, senior year, allowing if students do make changes from our CP to AP classes that there's a continuum that aligns throughout. And then like I already said, up-to-date data. In terms of alignment to standards, as I mentioned previously, our curricula is a little bit different for each of the courses where we don't follow the exact state model. We obviously have Ohio's learning standards embedded in our curriculum, but we often extend that and it goes into greater depth and breadth. And so looking to find texts and resources that support that, both for students and for the teachers, as we have some shifts that occur in the classroom of who teaches the different courses, that was really important. The AP classes, like I said, reviewing those with connection to their respective AP curriculum, whether there's a content emphasis, an assessment designed to make sure that the assessment materials that come with the resources align to the type of assessment. Each discipline in advanced placement classes, they assess differently. And so what question types look like, the bank of options that you have to provide students with authentic experiences and getting lots of practice, and then also those additional support materials to go along with any redesigns. Like AP Psychology, for example, has completely redesigned the entire curriculum. While the content is not different, how it's packaged, what's emphasized, the most recent research, what's included on the exam looks a bit different. In terms of future focused skills, we've had a lot of conversations in our department as using text as a tool rather than being the only tool. And so teachers often will have assigned readings or have assigned materials, but that is one in addition to several other resources that are often supplemented or created by the teacher themselves. And so rather than just kind of having a story, students doing the work of the various disciplines. So engaging in the work of a geographer, engaging in the inquiry process of a political scientist or of a historian. And looking for those National Council for the Social Studies C3 frameworks. So learning how to develop questions, planning inquiry, applying discipline-specific literacy and literary strategies, a lot of emphasis on evaluating sources, so whether that is historical primary sources, data sets in the various social science disciplines, and also an emphasis on argumentation utilizing evidence respective to the discipline, and being able to communicate and take action. So those are the overarching kind of inquiry and curricular ideas associated with our National Council, but lots of conversation around doing social studies rather than being told about social studies. And so we wanted to adopt resources that support that around, again, inquiry, content area literacy, especially in our CP classes where we tend to have students that need more reading support is really important, that foster and allow teachers to use them and deploy them for collaboration, and again, also to the connection to the strategic goal. I've mentioned some of these things, so I don't want to go in, I won't go into too much detail, but it was important that we had hard copy books for every single student, and that for every single course, with the exception of one, we also adopted the digital companion that goes along with that. Again, every single student having access to audio read aloud, and many of those resources, again, like I said, having that built-in differentiation tool with the text, as well as study guides, graphics, things like that, that students can use as supports and teachers can utilize in different ways. Having resources additionally to support not only our on-grade level students, but students that need more support as readers. We have a growing population of English language learners, and so ensuring that we have resources that support their needs. Having collections of primary sources and other types of authentic texts. As a classroom teacher, that is one of the most time-consuming things, is to find and kind of curate a collection of those different types of authentic sources that are timely, that are accurate, that are relevant, that are up to date, in order to plan engaging inquiry-based lessons. So having those curated and having deployable, ready-made resources can be helpful in that regard. And also allowing the teacher to modify those as necessary. And then again, graphic content that supports content messaging. The extras that were important for a lot of the teachers in the department had to do with, test banks being part of that, more so in the AP classes because they have the culminating test, and all of our students do take the AP test at the end of the course. And so again, making sure that the question types are written appropriately to the way they will be assessed on that AP exam. A lot of them, Cengage in particular, texts had the ability to embed assessment directly into Canvas. And so as our learning management system, just kind of in preparation for whatever, we never know what can happen, right? In order to get analytics and things like that in a quickly deployed fashion, rather than having to copy and paste everything into a digital document, so on and so forth, it allows you to integrate the questions directly into Canvas and utilize the assessment features that are built into Canvas. The AP preparation materials, and then again, one of the resources and one of the publishers we worked with really closely for our core classes was Cengage, that had just amazing customer service with content area specialists that could speak the language of the classroom, that had taught recently, that could discuss how to utilize the tech tools, which are such an important component of this to support our different students, were the things that were kind of like added bonuses on top of the other features that we saw. I mentioned one of our courses that we did not adopt both a physical text and a digital text, and that was for our AP European history course. The reason being the cost difference between the two was something like $15,000 to $20,000. And so if we had adopted, and you have to pay for a digital license for each student each year, and so after conversation with Dr. Whiteley and some conversations around fiscal responsibility, it's a class that we offer, but we don't have tons of students that take it. We want to offer that, but at the same time being fiscally responsible, we opted for the digital only. And so you're only using those licenses as needed when the class runs, based on our students and our scheduling process. Any questions?
Just that it's everything's like auditory that you can put all the books anywhere that's needed for pressure. And I just love that you were saying like living social studies versus just living on it. And just be like, what a great transition to taking one. So this is very much work and you all can kind of like great. And you guys said they're in the office for a little bit. So we're
quite a large staff. All right, so we are here to do the middle school social studies textbook presentation. Definitely not as complicated as high school. We got grades 5, 6, 7, 8. And I will say, as we were going through this process, we definitely have spent a lot of time as a department making sure that we're identifying power standards, making sure that we're aligned and supporting grade levels above us. And so that was kind of the thing that we all kept in mind as we were looking at our different textbook options. We looked at 3 different textbooks. We looked at McGraw-Hill, Prentice Hall, and then History Alive. I think that those were the main 3. We're going to just really quickly go through what we selected, and then we'll kind of cover the other parts of the presentation. So 5th grade's interesting because 5th grade has always had a hard time really finding a textbook that fits their curriculum. There hasn't been a textbook company that has done an amazing job for them in the last couple of years, but I feel like what we have coming up, they are really excited about. They're actually doing 2 different things. They are using a combination of Studies Weekly. That's something that primary uses too. The kids are really familiar with it. And that's going to be a hard copy, so it's kind of almost like a newspaper, and then also digital. They also really liked the Social Studies Alive, so it's a History Alive. It is incredibly interactive. Lots of really good engaging lessons. They were really impressed with a lot of the supplemental videos and things like that. 6th and 7th grade, also very interesting. We are going to use the same textbook. So 6th grade, there are 2 different ways you can really teach our curriculum. You can either do it really heavy with geography and then kind of weave in history, or you can be really heavy with history and weave in geography. We find that students are more excited about history than they are geography, which is why we are going with the same textbook as 7th grade. It covers history for both 6th and 7th grade, and then it also weaves in some of the different geography and whatnot, and we'll get to that, which will be great for kids though, because they'll be familiar with the book going into 7th grade. And then finally we have 8th grade. They are also using History Alive, which is same thing that 5th grade is using, but for 8th grade, which has a lot of interaction and engaging lessons.
I think you guys like yoga, right? So main areas of focus, we approached this a little bit differently than Louise did as far as what we talked about in each category. We got together to discuss sort of philosophy of what we want to accomplish in social studies. And it was high school, middle school, administration, and wonderful consultant from HCPSC. And we spent a whole day. And really unpacked some things, and it was interesting. interesting to me that if you break it down to what do kids really need to get out of social studies, Louise and I are really close on the same page as far as why do we learn social studies. So I try to highlight some of these things. We really want to develop active citizens, democratic communities, which means there's a whole bunch of skills we got to teach kids so that they can be responsible, active, engaged citizens. Big emphasis on interpreting primary sources, big emphasis on making sure there are diverse perspectives. The quality of the primary source material in the old textbooks is very limited, and it is not diverse in terms of points of view from different groups of people. So then that gives us the opportunity to teach kids how to communicate their ideas in an effective, civil manner. So a lot of thinking and writing, working with these sources, that they have to develop the critical thinking skills and the analytical skills to be able to unpack and then present. What does that mean for me? How do I support my thoughts, etc.? We also talked about this idea of rigorous, not just difficult. Rigorous means you are going to do work that is going to help you to learn, as opposed to I'm going to give you a whole bunch of stuff you've got to do, and it's going to wear you out and make you hate school. So emphasis on rigor. And then just some key instructional approaches for the middle school. Inquiry-based learning, emphasis on teaching and learning, metacognitive thinking. In middle school, especially starting in 6th grade, kids begin to be able to think about what they're thinking and why they're thinking it, but it doesn't happen magically. You have to intentionally teach it and develop it for kids for developing that kind of thinking. So we really want to make sure that the texts, the supporting resources that we gather, we're going to help us to do that with our students. And then developing and using advanced skills in reading and writing. We'll get into how the text and things are differentiated, but recognizing that, again, in social studies, we have to teach reading and writing skills in the content just as rigorously as we have to teach it in English language.
So as far as alignment to standards, so the TCI, and that's the History Alive, that's fully aligned with Ohio Social Studies standards. And then Studies Weekly for 5th grade is closely aligned, but with the mix of those together, I mean, they cover everything.
Both of them are developed for the Ohio curriculum. Now, whether they totally nail it or not remains to be seen, but it's not just some random curriculum from across the country. They took the Ohio curriculum.
And then for 7th grade, it's fully aligned. 6th grade is fully aligned, except for, we notice that it's missing modern geography tools. So that pretty much means like GPS, GIS, and remote sensing. But over the years, we haven't been impressed with the textbook that we have right now in terms of that. So we have developed and have lots of lessons that we actually use to help supplement that. We actually had a parent come in a couple of years ago that worked with Homeland Security, and they went through like how do you use GIS, and so we try to take that and make it more realistic instead of just trying to convince kids like you need to know latitude and longitude. It's more of like why would you ever need to pull out a map and do something like that? Why are there coordinates, etc. And then for 8th grade, they felt like it was closely aligned. It was better than what the current 8th grade book has as well.
All right, so future focus skills. To sort of summarize this before I go through the slides, we felt like comparing the texts that we are recommending to what we've been working, they were huge improvements in terms of they're more culturally sensitive and they provide many more diverse perspectives. For instance, the old 6th grade textbook can't use any of that stuff to teach world religions. It's really bad. The 7th grade textbook, their coverage of Africa, which is a key geographic area in the 7th grade curriculum, is awful. It's embarrassing. So we could never use that. We always had to go out and find it. The information that is presented and the way it's presented in the McGraw-Hill textbook is far superior to what we've been trying to work with. All of them have primary source documents embedded in the resources. The Studies Alive for 5th grade and 8th grade have ample inquiry-based lessons and activities, and 8th grade in particular was really looking for a way to bring the curriculum alive, because 8th graders are kind of hard to get moving. And so this seemed like it was going to provide more simulations and things to get kids to really engage. And primary source documents, like Louise was saying, not just texts, maps, data, things like that. In McGraw-Hill for 6th and 7th, every chapter has lessons and activities focusing on connections to today. Same thing in primary and secondary sources. 6th and 7th, there's a lot of literature and art sources that we can unpack and then make connections to the culture. And once again, student-centered. Okay. Yeah. Where is it? Okay. Primary source, the same thing. Inquiry-based activities. I don't have my glasses on, so
Yeah,
in the 8th grade History Alive, each chapter has an actual full inquiry project that links the content to present day issues. So allows kids to transfer what they're learning in early U.S. history to how does that play forward into our current day.
Yeah, because, and as I'm sure you guys all have seen, I mean, kids are changing, and how they're learning is always changing. And, always having their phones, they need that curiosity, and so we were pleased that a lot of the textbooks I feel like have come out with more engaging and like inquiry-based activities, a lot more primary sources than I feel like we've seen in the past. So hopefully that there's no more like just taking notes and everybody's listening. It's it's 15 minutes of maybe a conversation, and then kids need to move on and do something active in middle school. These lots of differentiation with these books. Reading levels are varied. Assessments can be differentiated. There's a text-to-speech functionality too, which is great. In middle school, kids are really sensitive about differences, as we know. So, throwing on headphones and being able to change that is really nice for them, so that everybody can learn at their level. Again, as we've talked about, lots of student-centered and engaging activities that we can use as well. So that's for 5th, 6th, and 7th. It also integrates in with Canvas as well. It'll be easy for the teachers to use that. There's something called SmartBook that can be implemented in that kids can use that's interactive within the textbook. They also have, in 5th and 8th grade, there's sections where it's like the main idea is highlighted to help some of our lower level readers be able to focus on some of those more important concepts as well.
And then the fact that text is customizable is really important. And like Jamie was saying, SmartBook in the McGraw-Hill and the main idea highlight feature in History Alive allows struggling readers, we can either adjust the reading level down, or we can adjust the reading level up for the high flyers. And we embed support in the text as they're reading it online. And then, like James said, the assignments are fully integrated with Canvas. The video resources are so superior to what we currently have, and we don't have to steal them. They're included, so we can just use them. Questions?
It's an exciting development. Like having middle school and finishing this field is so exciting. I'm excited about probably doing staff maybe books. So everything is and it's going to align with high school. See what
Thank you very much.
Thanks for staying. Somebody said this was their favorite. I'll take it. May is the time of the year that we bring the 5-year forecast back to the board for their review. We do this twice a year, once in May and once in November. I'm going to hit the highlights tonight of what has changed in the May adoption of the 5-year forecast, but just a quick refresher. All public school districts in Ohio adopt the 5-year forecast twice a year. It is a statutory requirement of the Ohio Revised Code, but we do much more than that here in Wyoming. We use it as an active tool in the planning of our financial stability. Fiscal stewardship is a pillar of our strategic plan, and without strong financial planning, we aren't able to do any of the things that result in the incredible achievement of our students tonight. We can't have the resources that we need to adopt the textbooks and buy the materials and hire amazing teachers. So it's a critical part of our work. So while we're required to do it by law, we use it as an active tool here in our school community to help us plan for the financial stability of the district. It includes 3 years of historical revenues and expenditures, 5 years of projections. We start with the fiscal year that we're in. Wrapping up this one real quick, here we are in the middle of May, approaching June 30th, our fiscal year end. It is a general fund only report or document. It does not include any of the other funds except for our general operating funds, so it doesn't include our bond retirement funds. We've been talking about those a lot lately with primary facilities. It doesn't include our voted millage and the permanent improvement fund. It doesn't include any of the student activity funds. A lot of the work and effort that we saw here tonight doesn't include Power of the Pen or athletics or any of those student activity funds. So a general fund only document. We are always just forecasting a reliable trend. The numbers will absolutely change. The trend will not likely change. And so we are modeling based on the best data that we have available here tonight. So we like to start with revenue. Where does our money come from before we talk about where it goes? And we get our revenue from 3 big buckets. The most material or the biggest bucket is real estate taxes, and we are 96% residential. When you look around Wyoming, you see homes. You don't have a big commercial industrial tax base. 96% residential. And we passed our last operating levy, an 8 mil operating levy in May of 2017. So 7 years out. And when we adopted the forecast in November, our new property values, I think most folks are aware now that every 6 years counties in Ohio go through a reappraisal cycle, our values were still tentative. And so we had some estimates in the forecast, and so now those values have become final, and we've seen our first round of collection on those values, had strong, healthy collection, and so our real estate taxes in the forecast did improve a little bit from the November adoption. There's some hardcore math in that bottom chart. I wish the math counts kids were still here so that they could work through it with me. But this is something that is an important concept in Ohio school finance. When values go up, voted millage gets reduced. House Bill 920 passed in 1976 in a time of serious inflation, similar to what we're having right now. And so you can see that happening.
You can see in 2023 the values went up, and you can see the millage rates go down, both in Class 1 and Class 2. Again, even though we're 96% residential, you can see the Class 2 commercial industrial values go down. I talk about that conceptually all the time, so it's nice to actually see the math right there on the page. Our next most material revenue source, or our next biggest bucket, is school district income tax. We have 2 of those that have been approved by our voters. 0.75% in November of 1989 and 0.5% in 1994, so those are not new. They've been around for a pretty long time, 1.25% total. And you can see over the life of the income tax, at least over the last 24 years, we've had some volatility in it, but overall, on average, we've had about 3% growth. And so that's what's included in our forecast. And so we've had some really good years in recent history, and last year was not so great. So in 22, we had forecasted 1.5, still coming out of the pandemic a little bit, and saw 9.95. In 23, we forecasted 6, came in just under 7. In 24, our initial collection in July was pretty low, and so we took it down to a 0%, and we actually saw a 1.55% decline. This is a trailing indicator for us, so difficult to forecast because we don't get the results until we get quarterly disbursements over our fiscal year, and so we don't know that it's going to go down until it actually goes down. But again, over the life and the history of our income tax, we've had this average of about 3%, and so that's what we're modeling. This is an area that if we see another year of decline, that will impact our financial stability and put us back on the ballot sooner. State funding, no change here. It's about 20% of our total revenue, so our third bucket. Our first biggest bucket was real estate, second was income tax, then state funding. Despite the fact that the state has implemented a new fair school funding model, we are not recipients of new state money. The funding model considers Wyoming a wealthy school district in both measures, which is property tax valuation and income. So we are not likely to get any additional state revenue, and there's none forecasted over the life of this forecast. In fact, our advocacy as a school district is really just to hang on to the state funding that we have. As the state continues to expand money into vouchers and to private school funding, this needs to be a continued source of advocacy for us, again, to be able to hold on. You can see back in 2019, we were at 5.9 million. In 23, we're at 5.8. This forecast is 5.8, and in fact, some of it is now restricted, so just makes things a little more challenging for us, but I don't expect any additional state revenue, nor is any forecasted in this forecast. All right, so we talked about where the money comes from, so we'll hit quickly where it goes. About 80% of our budget is in salaries and benefits. We hire incredible staff members to work with our students. That should make sense. We're not a production company. We don't buy raw goods and manufacture them into things. We are a people business, so we hire staff members to serve our kids. And we're right on the benchmark. Across the state, about 80% of all public schools in Ohio have their main source of expense in salaries and benefits. Again, and that makes sense if you think about what we're doing. The next biggest chunk, once you get past salaries and benefits, is purchase services, and those are things that maybe normally staff members would do, but we procure those, outsource them, or contract those things out. Also included in this category are things that you might consider like fixed costs in your home, utilities, insurance, those sorts of things that we have to just keep the building going. Those are things that we purchase, and so that is increasing. We have in the forecast some increases there, and you might be seeing some of those increases again in your home budget. We are feeling some inflationary pressure on this line item, but again, continuing to do all of the things that we need to do in terms of exploring different contractors and trying to bid those things just so that we can make sure that we're getting the best price for this line item. And that really leaves about 3% of our budget for materials and supplies and capital outlay, and that includes things like textbooks, the things that you heard in the presentation about tonight. We have plans for all of these things. So we have a textbook forecast, we have a technology forecast, and so kind of the backdrop of this big 5-year forecast, our little 5-year forecast, that include things like technology and textbooks. And so the textbook presentations that you heard here tonight were aligned with the adoption cycle of different subjects over the life of textbook adoptions. And so that's why you see those numbers, the historical numbers, a little bit of volatility there. Some years are very expensive adoptions. English language arts is a very expensive adoption if you think about the number of novels that it takes to do English language arts district-wide. Some other subjects are a little, they're just smaller adoptions. And so we have evened it out in the forecast and have been working with Dr. Wakely just to make sure that when we do a textbook adoption, that falls within our budget. Capital outlay, again, ties to technology purchases, devices, and infrastructure. So the devices that our students use, and then also the infrastructure kind of behind the scenes that supports all of that. So Wi-Fi access points, servers, cybersecurity, all of those sorts of things. And again, the volatility there is aligned with that cycle, and also important to note that we did use semester funding to support some of those items over the past couple of years. Okay, so how does all of that factor into our financial stability? And really it all boils down to cash balance. We're going to wrap up our 7th consecutive year of balanced budgeting, so more revenue than expenses, and so that's positive. We are continue to watching economic indicators. There's all sorts of stuff that's going on locally in our country, in the world, that impacts the state budget and then also our budget, specifically as it relates to income tax collection. I just always like to mention that we did receive just shy of $2 million in COVID funding that did help support, from fiscal year 20 through 23, moving some of those expenses over there. But we are continuing to plan for a future operating levy. Operating levies are not, there's no way out of that. They're a requirement of public school districts. It's an important part of our financial planning, and one that is unavoidable. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And we use our win indicator as a $5 million cash balance benchmark. Did some good work with the board and our finance committee a number of years ago to adopt that benchmark, reviewed a number of analytics that helped us determine what that rate benchmark was for us. And so for us, it's $5 million. And so that benchmark says that we are forecasting cash balance below $5 million, that the board will start to consider ways that we will increase revenue, reduce expenditures, or some combination of both. And those are the only choices for any public school district when you have a cash balance that needs attention. It's either increase revenue, and for us that's an operating levy, decrease expenditures, and we already, I feel like, are super lean in a lot of things that we do, or some combination of both of those. And so right now, this forecast points to that need in fiscal year 27. But again, we're continuing to monitor all of the things that we talked about on the revenue side and the expenditure side in planning for a future operating. It would be really great to get to that 10-year mark. I think that would be a nice piece, and I hope we can make it. Any questions about the May adoption of the forecast? I did it pretty quick, but you guys are pretty good at it, so. Thank you.
We'll get us to stay here. Board committee reports. The first one, finance. We just had the 5-year report, and we are not, the finance committee did not meet. So then we go to citizens advisory.
Yeah, we had our CAC last met on May 14th, and this was a review of the next year. So we had just talked about strengths of the structure of the CAC, growth opportunities for how we help CAC, potential future studies, great discussion, and we're going to treat since one of our studies this year was a new study. We did have our food service brought some samples of food for the meeting, which was great. Really a great way to see what they're excited about in terms of offering students healthy meals 24-25 school year about what studies might be coming up with the team. So great year, incredible support from the team.
So our retreat, keep that in mind, will be adding new members and we want to come up with topics that that would be the retreat, so that's coming up. Superintendent committee liaison reports belong.
We have a meeting tomorrow, so there's no update. We have another meeting for the Belonging and Inclusion Collaborative tomorrow afternoon.
All right, community engagement.
Say the big doozy obviously was May 8th, so that was awesome, and they did a great job. It's been sitting back there, so I was like, great job. He didn't, okay. So that's a lot of great thanks to PSA and everybody, all the volunteers for that, because it seemed like a really great turnout with a little bit of a new setup because of the new green, and then it's obviously just all the end of the year stuff that probably Susie's going to go through. Hard to do that now, or do you have something else?
So it's celebration season. So in addition to last week, well, starting with last week, we had 4th grade ceremonies and picnics at all of the primary schools. This morning, we had the class of 2024 parade of graduates with our seniors traveling to our primary schools and middle school to be cheered by the students there and the staff members who supported them in the past. So then, looking forward, this Wednesday, May 22nd, is our 8th grade celebration. It'll take place at 7 p.m. In Wyoming High School's Pendry Auditorium. The next day, Thursday the 23rd, is the last day of school for students with a 1-hour early dismissal at our primaries and middle school and field day at Elm, Hilltop, and Vermont schools. That evening is the PSA senior class slideshow and celebration that will take place at 7 p.m. in Pendry Auditorium. Friday, we will have a professional development day for staff, and then Saturday at 6 p.m. Saturday, May 25th, is commencement for the class of 2024 on graduation walk at Wyoming High School, and it is also scheduled to be live streamed on the Wyoming City Schools YouTube channel. And it's summer.
Just a highlight that on May 13th we had our community forum and that was held at Pendry Auditorium. Virtually our review the work that has been done really throughout this entire year in the process and the findings from the community survey that was completed and then share the final decisions for the primary facilities master plan, which is 3 new K-12 primary schools located on current sites. The steering committee after that conversation, they just had very wealth of information to our community, had some good feedback on how we're meeting, so I think we're really excited about moving forward and painting a picture of what new facilities will do for our students. So that's the work to do.
Okay, planning and goal setting, we actually have not met at all for a while, but I think you want to switch out from this committee and use this time to review the building leadership.
Yeah, so we're excited on June 4th, so last week is at the end of we don't take much of a break before we jump right into working on things for next year. So on June 4th, we have a building leadership retreat. Part of that is for our current building leadership team members to speak at the planning meeting about the work that has been done this past year. So you hear from each building team. They'll talk about the goals that were set this year and the work that, or the goals that have been a focus for this year. And then after that meeting, we'll shift gears and work together. And we'll be talking, it's really going to be a professional development opportunity for the rest of the day where we're talking about and how to support and build capacity for our teacher leaders throughout the year. So exciting day. We're happy to do that front end of summer, so all of the learning that happens can be utilized for the rest of the summer and the school.
Next is policy review. They have not met, so, and we do talk policies in just a minute, so let's skip that, and student achievement did not meet. So now we're down to Board of Education report. This is a first read of the bylaws that we worked on. Remember, we reviewed our bylaws and we made a few changes. One of the things we did learn was that when we only make a few changes, we could accept this as a consent agenda, correct? So we need to have a second read. It's my question, and I read this as the first read.
Maybe you know, I thought you might, you know, they might get reflected in online.
Okay.
I'd like to have those linked to the changes, even though we all work through those together.
So
we haven't, yeah, we did not have
Right. Yeah, the difference is that normally policy works on it, and then you all see the links, and then there's a need for the first and second, because you all have to see them until policy brings them to you in the first read. This time, we all worked on them in the meetings, but we thought it might be helpful to just refresh the memory of what we were working on, let them sit for 30 days, get the links updated, and then vote. Okay. Yeah, it's really, they were really small, but we thought it might be a bit refreshing to see them all.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I just want to, so without Ashley here, I should see this.
We're going to, I think the next step we'll do is we'll provide all the links for that, and then that will change. We'll have a summary document for you. And many of them, most of them are minimal, but we will make sure we can cover all of them. And the next time if there are questions, we will answer those questions after we have.
All right, so B is a second read of two policies, and was there comments that anyone wants to make? May I have a motion to approve the Board of Education? So moved.
Second.
May I have a roll call?
Mrs. G?
Yes.
Mrs. Zeller?
Yes.
Mrs. Broderick?
Yes.
Mr. Feldmeyer?
Yes.
G, item A, approval of the minutes from the April 22nd regular meeting and the May 7th planning meeting. Item B, approve the statement of revenues and expenditures for month ending April 30th. Item C, accept with appreciation the donations from the JWC. Item D, the appropriation adjustments for the month of May. Item E, resolution authorizing membership in the Ohio Purchasing Council of Governments. Item F is approval of the FICA forecast. And item G, approval of reports.
Questions, comments? Just like you said, you've seen it. It's a lovely map, and that's just primary and high school. Additional schools members as well. All right, we have a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second. Second. Roll call?
Mrs. Zeller?
Yes.
Mrs. Broderick? Yes. Mr. Feldmeyer?
Yes.
Mrs. G? Yes. Thank you.
Okay, superintendent's report.
Okay,
And
several.
this, I'm sorry, this will include the group, this will bring that sheet.
Yes, and I'll include that as I go through this. Yes, we have several personnel items. Number one is the recommendation to approve resignation for the purpose of retirement. And this was specific to Debbie Allen and Louise Padre. Along with all of our retirees this year. Number two, recommendation to approve resignation for individual staff members. Number three, recommendation to approve personnel. And so we have private teacher in our primary schools. Number four, recommendation to approve unpaid leave. Number five, recommendation to approve a revised job description, and that is for the technology coordinator position. Next one. Number six is a recommendation to approve administrator contract, and this is for Scott Powers, who will be moved into that role of technology coordinator. Scott's done a great job of leadership, technology leadership across the district, so excited for him to do that work.
Could you talk about the revised job description since normally you would run that as a two-month thing?
What really it is looking at, we're making a shift to, we have contracted out the service with Forward Edge, and we're making a shift to bring that in-house. And so we've had the role of technology coordinator before, and really it was dated back when technology was different. Global brought Forward Edge on board, so really just updated that leadership role. And so that technology coordinator offers guidance, leadership, planning, with regard to all technology services.
Number 7, this is a recommendation to approve individuals that have been working to build or will be working to build social emotional learning curriculum. And this is part of our planning. Number 8 is a recommendation to approve media specialists and library summer work over the course of this summer. Number 9, recommendation to approve the renewal of educational aids, and you can see different aids and specialists in this group, and really great work that is done by these individuals to support so many different student needs, really critical roles within our district. Number 10 is a recommendation to approve 3rd grade reading camp staff substitutes. These are people who filled in for other individuals who are supporting students in this 3rd grade reading camp. Number 11, summer recommendation to approve summer PSY. And so this is support for students that have extended school year services. Number 12, recommendation to approve home instruction. And so this is to allow payment to this individual for supporting students that require that service. And number 13, recommendation to approve summer camp staff hourly rates. So in my next item, I'll shift into camp staff. And so this is approving those staff, those different positions and the rates of pay for those individuals. And so as we shift over to item B, you can see a great list of summer camp staff members. And so these are all connected to that summer camp staff hourly rate. So you can see basketball camp, boys basketball camp, union camp, football fun camp, girls basketball camp, marching band camp, volleyball youth middle school camp, also science and technology camp. In addition to this, what's on your blue sheet, and this is for the Wyoming youth soccer camp, which is added to that list. Item C. We have several overnight field trips. Excited about student opportunities, and so you can see 3 travel opportunities for students. These are all taking place next year. Items D and E are recommendations to approve school fee lists for primary and high school. Soon we'll have middle school lists that will be joining this list. And then items F and G are both handbooks. F is the administrator handbook, and G is the classified instruction.
And I can only find conversations about the drug-free workplace in Wyoming, so it's like, something important in the handbook. All right, we have a motion to approve the superintendent's report. So, second. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Barker? Mr. Feldmeyer?
Yes.
Mrs. G?
Yes.
Mrs. Zeller?
Yes. Superintendent's update.
Almost there. Close to 9:30. It's unbelievable. Yes. Packed days, exciting days. Today was an exciting day with the graduates going through the primary school days and middle school. It is quite an activity, and our students and our staff just really truly a great experience. Lots going on. Really looking forward to graduation. What a great celebration of our students. So lots of exciting things happening, but again, as we've said, we will turn the corner and we will work on getting better and better. And so that happens as soon as we get to the end of the year. We have professional development scheduled for over the summer. Lots of work has been happening over the past several months to plan for that professional development. I should talk a little bit about our Building Leadership Retreat, which is coming up on June 4. Just a few days after that, our leadership team, our district administrators will be working together to plan for the upcoming year. Again, all in the mindset of continuous improvement. Wanted to also connect previous conversations that we've had. We talked about information that we shared around intervention, special education, and how can we do better, how can we take a look inward to see how we can improve our practices. So the work to build an audit or review of our intervention and special education services is happening now. That work will be initiated as soon as we get to
we just celebrate kiddos for 3 days and go forward and hope for good weather.
Okay. That's it, then I guess. Unless someone has something else?
No.
Then we, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.